Welcome back to the Black American channel of the free and the brave. Now, today we're talking about contradiction. That's right. Contradiction on no other than the lifelong politician, Charles Chuck Schumer. That's right. If you know anything about his current stance on immigration laws and voter ID, then you will be shocked to see this clip that I found from 1996. Before we get into it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 9,000 subscribers. And make sure you leave your comments down in the comments section so we can have a conversation. Without further ado, let's get into it.
First of all, Social Security card is used from one end of America to the other as an identification card right now. Who are we kidding? If you want to pass a law and says it shouldn't be, I would ask the chairman and the distinguished minority member of the Social Security committee to pass that law. But let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. All over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. And here, the gentleman from Florida has put together the most effective anti-fraud measure we can find without it changing the actions of the government one bit. And we find all this opposition. Ladies and gentlemen of this chamber, what I worry about is that this bill, which started out with good intentions, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is going to end up being the same kind of thing that the public gets angry with us on. We say we're doing something, and we do nothing.
Yo, where is this man's MAGA hat? Doesn't he sound so far right? Now, as we all know today, he's completely flip-flopped. What is the reason? Why is that? We got a few things. I got a few ideas. I'm going to talk about those in just a moment. But let's go ahead and bring up this next clip with him 30 some odd years later. And his whole line and story and beliefs has changed. What's going on? Contradiction? Change of beliefs? Or is it TDS? You decide. Let's get into this clip.
It has nothing to do with protecting our elections and everything to do with federalizing voter suppression. The SAVE Act is nothing more than Jim Crow 2.0. If the SAVE Act were to become law, online registration, registration by mail, and registration drives would become a thing of the past. If you're one of tens of millions of Americans who does not have access to your birth certificate, or if you're one of the 50% of Americans who don't have a passport, the SAVE Act could make it impossible for you to participate in elections. It would lead to massive purges that inevitably remove legitimate American citizens, legitimate citizens who have the right to vote, from voter rolls. And even married couples aren't spared from the SAVE Act. If you get married and you change your last name, you too would be at risk under the SAVE Act of getting booted off the voter rolls. This is just an outrageous piece of legislation. It's turning the clock back 100 years.
100. Okay. So he says it's turning the clock back 100 years. Not even 30 years ago, you were just literally advocating for every single thing that you said in that last clip. Mr. Schumer, what happened? Sounds like this gentleman has been bought. Sounds like complete TDS. It sounds like no matter what Republicans say, Democrats have to do the opposite, even if it means contradicting everything that they have said and wanted to do, wanted to pass, wanted to put into action in the past, which is not how the government is supposed to work. Because you got to understand, we need to come together on certain things. And immigration is one of those things that we have to be very bipartisan about. There was nothing in the first clip from 1996. No one was thinking about married couples, quote unquote, disenfranchised people, because, everybody has an ID. You have to get an ID to drive. You have to get an ID to go to the bars, to the clubs. You have to get an ID to travel as far as boarding a plane. What else do you have to get an ID for? You have to have an ID to do so many different things. Even to get social services, Section 8, SNAP benefits. You got to have an ID to do everything in life. Granted, some people's IDs, driver's license may be suspended, but you can always go get an ID card. Always. Nothing will stop you from getting that. The married woman argument is ignorant and baseless. My wife got married. She changed her name. Had no problem going and voting for Trump whatsoever. Do you know if this was actually a problem, women would have already been in an uproar about this long time ago, decades ago. And at this point, it's actually very disrespectful for him to say that having your ID to vote is Jim Crow 2.0. Do you know what was happening to Black people during Jim Crow? Being able to get an ID was the least of our worries. So to compare that to Jim Crow is literally appalling and absolutely disrespectful. And it really shows at this point what you think about us. Because what? Do you think we're too poor to go get an ID? Too ignorant? We don't have GPS. We don't know where the DMV is? Or is it you want illegal immigrants to vote or to continue voting? That's a thought. Now let me bring up this next clip that I have here, and I'm going to show you what Democrats actually think about Black people and why they think they won't be able to get an ID. Let's check this out.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the Black vote. Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get
Who is telling them this? Where are you getting your information from? Is it to keep you guys with this sense of superiority to where you have to come, hold us and take care of us because we're just little dumb Negroes. We don't know how to do anything on our own. Like, where is this coming from? Because clearly you'll see, because we ain't telling you that shit. What the hell?
These you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for Black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for Black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed.
I also think there's a repression of Black voting with
how if you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so like we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. Like that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this? Some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right?
That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that. It's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is right now?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access.
This is absolutely insulting to hear. It's crazy.
Even a little kid could figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually
unlimited.
Unlimited data.
Mm-hmm. I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process was.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I'm hearing a lot.
Ignorant.
Ignorant.
Very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you know, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
You're judging somebody, like, but you're judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, can we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are? Are you
Love
cool?
showing my ID.
You got no problem with that?
Nope.
Would you have a problem if when you go to vote, if they say, can we please just see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are? Do you have an issue with that?
No.
Would you have a problem if there was a rule where you have to show your ID in order to vote?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have an issue if there was a rule saying you got to show your ID before you vote?
Nah.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
And there you have it. So, like the black woman said, who are they talking to? What black people are you talking to? Because you're not talking to black people. And there's a term that has come into existence here recently, which is called the soft bigotry of low expectations. And that is exactly what these white liberals have exhibited and displayed in this video. It's absolutely racist to just assume that black people are too dumb, too poor, too ignorant, and just don't have access to internet providers, cell phones, whatever mechanisms that could be used to get directions to the DMV or to actually get an ID. It is racist to assume that black people don't have access to these things, and how it has infiltrated the minds of these people to where you want to relax voting laws, which will inevitably, which will most definitely cause fraud. And it already is happening. It's already being uncovered. If you don't know about this, then you need to put your ear to the ground and you need to do some research, because the Save America Act is trying to do just what the name suggests. Okay, here's one more clip. Going to show you guys just what they really think about us. This one's quick, so we'll get right through it real quick.
You know, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
What? How you say that? How you say that? You in a public forum. And she said that she meant it. She tried to run it back and, she misspoke, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't misspeak like that. You don't misspeak like that. I'm sorry. And I'm going to play this one final last clip. Gentlemen, he says exactly what I want to say, how I want to say it. And I couldn't agree more. Check him out.
Fuck Charles Schumer. He can go fuck himself. Because see, you can't tell black people that something they support is Jim Crow 2.0. You can't tell black folk that something they support to the tune of 71 to 76%, that MSDNC and even CNN had to admit were true because they did their own polling. Black people support having an ID to vote. But y'all want black folk to support not having an ID to vote so that you could give away the house to illegals and to foreigners like you've been doing. So how else would you do that? How else would you influence black folk to once again go against our best interests like you've been doing for the last 60, 70 years? Well, just code it. Just code the thing they support as something racist. Do like the communists did back in the 1930s, where you tag something, where you call the thing you're trying to get opposed, call it something with a bad smell. So, of course, what do? Jim Crow 2.0. And mind you, black folk, white liberals don't think you're fucking idiots. White liberals think you can't eat. White liberals think that you all are dogs. You don't know how to get an ID. You don't have access to things. That's what they say. That's what white leftists say about you. They say you don't know how to get an ID. You don't have access. You're poor. You're you're retarded or whatever. Meanwhile, black folk in the hood walking around with a state ID or driver's licenses like it ain't even nothing. Democrats are racists. They've been racist. They are racist. They're the party that enslaved us. But y'all forgot all about that. Yeah. The whole Dixiecrat thing during the civil rights movement, that was Democrats. Break the spell, folks. Break the spell. And fuck this triangulation on the part of the Democrats to get us to support things for illegals. Yeah, Schumer, go fuck yourself.
Yes, sir. I agree with every single thing he said. Excuse the foul language. Like I said, it's a soft bigotry of low expectations. They expect lesser from us. And like I said earlier, I don't know where this comes from. They don't have black friends, clearly. They don't know black people because this is not an issue with us. And like he said, 71 to 76% of the black community supports having voter ID. Why wouldn't you? Because it only opens up everything to fraud and for non-citizens to vote. I don't even want to look at the voting logs in California, New York, Washington State, Oregon. These places and that have the sanctuary cities, which is absolutely unconstitutional. Absolutely insane. They just want to bring these illegals over and replace us. You have to understand that. If you have a better reasoning behind why you don't want voter ID, you gotta let me know. Because you can't flood the country with 10, 20, 30, 40 million illegals like during the Biden administration and have no reasoning behind that. Because people like myself, we're waking up. We're leaving the Democratic Party in droves. 10 years ago, hell, 5 years ago, you didn't see people like me talking loud, letting you know, because we don't give a fuck no more, okay? We don't care anymore. You can call us all the names you want in the book, but with the history that the Democrats have with being racist, started slavery, started the Civil War over slavery, started the KKK after the blacks founded the Republican Party so they could take out the blacks so they wouldn't be ruled by the slaves that they had to free. Real Jim Crow, not this BS Jim Crow 2.0, which is only having voter ID, is absolutely comical and insulting at the same damn time. Shout out Future. So what more can I say about this? Democrats have flip-flopped, and they're only doing it because they're opportunistic. If they say they don't want to do something because Trump is doing it, then their whole voter base is just going to fall right in line. No free thinking. The same people that voted for Obama, who campaigned on strong immigration laws, are now voting for these laws to have no voter ID. Hillary flip-flopped too. What's the old man name they like that was sitting with his legs crossed? Bernie flip-flopped too. I could bring all this up. I may do it in another video. Who else did? Bill Clinton. All your little homies on the Democratic Party flip-flopped on immigration and voter ID laws. You can't be trusted. This is national security threat. We need to have non-citizens sitting their ass down, if not getting their ass out of this whole damn country. No spine. Whew, I got heated for a little bit there, guys. This video is getting a little bit long. Make sure you go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Trying to get to 9,000 subscribers. I appreciate all the love I've been getting here recently. Make sure you go ahead and leave your comments down in the comment section so we can have a conversation. Remember, this is the Black American channel of the free and the brave.